What's up, YouTube? We're just giving a few more moments for people to pile into the Discord and the YouTube stream, and we'll be diving in here shortly.
All right, 4 more minutes. Looks like the market's catching a small bid here. All right, let's wait 3 more minutes and then we will get the show on the road. Three minutes and we'll start. Looks like Moo is giving it all up. Kind
of straight down since open.
You had that big pump when the numbers dropped, and then it's downhill from there. So it looks like the option sellers might win, probably will win. We're not going to start just yet. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Beta gang always wins, man.
What's going on?
As someone with a weird fixation on shorting, I commend Theta gang. I don't have the balls to short naked. Not options anyway.
Give about 30 seconds and then we'll go. As always, I'll just wait 30 seconds to say the spiel. All right, it is 10:30. Let's kick things off. Thank you for showing up as always. And as always, nothing on the stream is financial advice. Just here to teach, educate, entertain, what have you. Feel free to drop anything in the chat at any time. I'm reading the Discord chat. Nick is reading the YouTube chat. He'll relay stuff to me as needed. But yeah, start the stream. So we're just trying out a new time. Like normally we're here like during power hour, but we're just mixing it up today, just to try another time. So let's see here. No Loop says Citigroup. We got our first ticker request. So let's just see. I guess the first thing I could do is maybe just pull up my filter and then just see if anything has hit. No, nothing for C on that specific filter. That doesn't mean that there's nothing going on today for C. But let's see here. So we do have some puts that I'm not interested in. Just a big complex trade here, probably. Not really seeing anything that just anything of note, really. Now, we haven't really done too deep a dive. I guess we could just look at the feed real quick just to see what we see. Start at 5K. That might be a bit too low. Show me. Let's reset everything. See, let's try 10K. 10K volume trades just to see what's going on. So here's that multi-leg put that I had no interest in. Not super interested there.
We are pumping.
Let's just try volume. Are we? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Cool. I did see, I think next week's meta 735, I want to say. I think that might have gotten hit real quick. Maybe that wasn't it. Hold on. Where did I see it? Maybe it was 730. Maybe it was these guys, perhaps. Not exactly sure, but let's just get back to C real quick just to say we looked. I don't see anything of note today. If we just look at the net premium chart, you can see it's not really giving us any kind of read either. Both the net call premium and the net put premium are up. So there's nothing really to glean from this information, which is an important lesson. It's you don't need to, don't try to extract meaning out of every individual transaction that you find, because most of the time there just isn't any. So just focus on the ones that are just clearly, hey, here's probably some opening flow. Now let's try to figure out if it's buying or selling, and then go from there, kind of thing. That has dried up the Discord chat. That was the only ticker. Feel free to drop some more. In the meantime, let's just look at some Microsoft contracts, just because Microsoft is just such a strong name in terms of flows too. So just look at, these are all the Microsoft contracts I've had watch listed. One or two of the calls I think are short calls, which aren't doing too hot, but the rest are long calls, and I believe this 440 was a short put, so that should be doing just fine with Microsoft trading almost 500. But anyways, if we just zoom out to pretty much all of these Microsoft contracts, you're just going to see the same thing. You're going to see that one big stick that we love seeing that is indicative of potentially interesting flows, right? Straight line up. Now, this is, it's not necessarily repeatable, right? Not every big candle is going to result in a straight up flow, as is the case here. So obviously, keep that in mind. But Microsoft has just been so strong. Just these huge, consistent, the sizing is on all of these pretty much. Here's 20K. It's 20 or 10K. Here we got another 10K-ish. 10K, 10K, what's this one, 5K, so you get the point, 10K. Let's see here, Rishi says AR is a good one, because I did see, so I was following this AR 45 that some people had posted in the server, because it did get some flows June 13th, we saw 5,800 contracts traded, 0% multi-leg, so just single leg flows, resulting in a large increase in open interest. And we are seeing similar volumes today, so it's entirely possible that it is this trader selling. It is also entirely possible that it is this trader increasing their position. a couple other similar, just looking, not related at all, but just structurally kind of looks the same. Like we have this NVIDIA 137.11, volume, open interest increase, volume, open interest increase, volume, open interest increase. So we're either going to see this similar kind of thing where the open interest increases by the number of contracts traded, or potentially could be them closing. We're not going to know until open interest updates tomorrow in the pre-market. But yeah, AR is an interesting one. I didn't see anything that would explain the pump. I mean, in fact, the only two people that I've tweeted about AR are me and Wall Street Jesus in the last 30 minutes. So I don't see any news. So who knows? Let's see here. Next, we got Tommy requesting. Let's see here. He says SMCI. What do we got here? Let's look at SMCI. SMCI. A nice strong day. What are you looking at right there? What is that screenshot? Options, time, and sales. So you see, looks like a four-legger, 10,000 size trade kind of going on here. Let me see if I could just find it in the flow. SMCI, let's try 25K. There it is. So it's some kind of roll. You see this thing quite often. So we have four legs. Well, that we can see here. Let me just click to make sure. Yeah, so it's four legs. Four legs, two expiring tomorrow, two expiring next week. The ones expiring next week are guaranteed openers given the interest or the volume to open interest ratio. As you can see here, there's 17,000 contracts traded on the SMCI 57. These guys right here, 17,000 traded, only 1,200 open interest. So very clearly opening activity. Here's similar story, 16,000 or 17,000, we'll just round up 17,000 volume, zero open interest. Not the same story over here. There is more volume than open interest. However, if I just click back like 3 days maybe, I might see a very similar size candle. Nope, not 3 days. How about 7 days? So 7 days ago, we had 5K, 5K. Here's 10K, so that's probably them. So I'm gonna look at the historical volume in open interest on the 46.5C. Oh, let me mute this individual. Oh, they've already muted themselves. All right, so where was I? I'm gonna look at the open interest, and I should see on June 18th, 10,000 contracts traded, and on the next day, I should see 10,000-ish more open interest. Lo and behold, 10,000 traded, 10,000 more open interest. So this is very likely them getting into the position, whatever it was. This was also a multi-leg trade. I'm going to guess that this was also in its own right a four-legged trade. There's just a lot of these four-leggers that I don't know. Yeah, so another four-legger. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of these flows. Like here, let's just look at if we look at the default big multi-leggers. Coin is a big one. They do this with Coin, Palantir, like Coin. Here's a big four-legger roll. Let's just zoom out slightly. You don't have to zoom out too far to see similar sized candles that are likely the entrance of this leg of the trade. Now, there's an opening component to it as well, but I just don't really think that they're directional flows. But thank you for the post. Let's see here. We got Run 8.5C. Run 8.5C July. So yeah, solar stocks have been catching a bid lately ever since they got crushed. They got crushed about a week ago because that Senate bill had some revisions regarding solar credits that I think have since been unwound or something like that. I could care less about the bill, honestly, so I don't pay attention to it. But we do have the Run 8.5C. Another flow, a solar flow that I am tracking are the FSLR 150 Julys. They opened these. So this is this day right here. Or rather, let's look at this.
Ya comieron. que hicieron el vuelo. Ya lo escucho.
Mute you. Okay. One of these days we'll just do the pre-mute. We'll figure it out. But anyways, you see the drop right here. This is when the after hours. I think it was after hours. Some news about the solar tax credits being withdrawn came out here. Obviously, a huge decrease in stock price. Then on the 17th, we have some bulls coming into the 150. The 150 July's. What was it trading at the time of the transaction? It was trading like, we'll say 135-ish, we'll say, at 135. So it's gone up quite a bit. Average of 801 on that day, so they're up about 100%. So there's a move been made there. Might be, I don't know how much more meat there is left, but maybe there's some more. What else run is there? So the run 9C high multi-leg, not super interested in that. Here's the one that you showed us earlier. Let's just take a look at FSLR, see if they're doing anything here. So FSLR, are they shorting 150p 2027s? So we have the FSLR 150p 2027 traded, just a single execution. Or hold up, where's that other volume? So I'm assuming this, either this, yeah, so this one volume was probably them as well, I guess. Just kind of weird that there's 6 minutes of a gap. But anyways, yeah, so 3,000-ish of these traded at or closer to the bid. Receiving $32 essentially, so they make money. The break even would be what, 118? 118 by expiration. What other FSLR is there? I think that's pretty much it for FSLR. What ENPH? Anything for ENPH? Big multi-legger that I don't care about necessarily. Well, I mean, I guess it does look. It's some kind of spread. Said CC 10,000 contracts, 10,000 contracts traded, both multi-leg. So like you can just kind of reason that these are the two legs that are being traded together. Yeah, I think that's it for solar. See here, Nick says we briefly tapped it at the start. Moo. All right, we'll check out Moo. So Moo. Let's just look at the chart right quick. Not the technical chart. Just want to see the price action. Blah blah blah. So it had earnings yesterday. Down slightly, about 1%. The implied move was like what, 6 and some change, I think. So, well short of that. I didn't see any flows, I don't think, yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone saw any flows. Let's see what they were cooking up today. So I'm just going to click on a random chain just to get that premium chart back up here. So what does the net premium chart look like today? So today, puts flat, right? So basically, it doesn't look like anyone's trading puts either direction. Like, yes, it's moving slightly. Yes, I mean, maybe it is more than nothing because it's, it is a million premium-ish here that's moving, but just for puts are effectively flat, right? But what are calls doing? Calls are just going straight down. What does that mean? Does that mean that they're selling their existing calls? Does that mean that they're shorting new calls? We don't know for certain, right? I see some people who say they see the net call premium line going down, and their immediate conclusion is, oh, people are selling to open calls, or they just say they're selling calls, but they don't specify if they're selling existing calls or selling to open. And the truth of the matter is, you just don't know by looking at this, right? All we know is that there's a net negative amount of call premium. That's it. We don't know if they're selling to open or selling to close. We might be able to see, maybe, like, let's just click around. So what's a call contract that has a lot of negative net premium? So like this 126 single leg, right? Only 1% of all activity here. Just click into this. This one might be if it's a single candle, we might see like a profit type situation. Yeah. So I'm assuming we might see open interest decrease tomorrow. Can't say for certain, but you can see here that this contract is responsible for a lot of this decrease in net premium, right? So this contract, actually, we can just go to the net the net flow page for Moo and just see exactly what contracts are affecting it. So yeah, as far as call contracts are concerned, the 126 that we just looked at, responsible for the most amount of negative net call premium. Same with the 130s. This time not a single candle, but just a cumulative amount of activity traded at the bid, right? So there's mostly bid side, which is bringing the line down. In this case, there's not really, it's hard to tell. We can't even really make a thesis of like, where's a whale, where isn't a whale. So yeah, just be aware of the limitations, right? So here's like another one, 125 weeklies, right? It's probably not going to be a single candle just because it's at the money. It's going to be just a bunch of different volume. Yeah, so hard to tell exactly what's going on here. We just know that generally speaking, they're not trading puts. And if they are trading calls, they're being traded at or closer to the bid. So there's pretty much the takeaway here. There's definitely not any buying going on, right? There's probably not any call buying going on for certain, but there's not any put buying going on either. So like, I guess the lean is slightly bearish just because, there's no call interest, but like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily bearish either. If the put line was like going up this way, then I would say it's definitely leaning bearish, but given that the puts are flat, I would say it's not really much of anything. So let's take a look at just some random, so like AMD, what do we like? So it's heavy net negative premium. So that can be a mix of both high negative put premium as well as high positive put premium as well as negative call premium. Let's just take a look at what it is. So in this case, kind of a similar story to Moo. Like puts they're up, they're moving a little bit, but it's nothing crazy, right? All right, what is this spam? You spammed this yesterday too. I'm just gonna ban you. All right. Again, no call activity, right? No call interest. So, the bulls aren't really out to play on AMD. I would give the lean is definitely a little bit bearish today. Again, that doesn't mean that it's gonna, there's not much put activity, right? So it doesn't look like there's that much interest in it and betting it to go down, but there's just a lack of betting for it to go up, I guess. But there could be some of the AMD could be attributed to some of those 2027, 2026 flows selling. I wonder if I might be able to just see on AMD. Is there a net premium? That would have been handy. AMD. Any 2020? Yep. So here's some 2026, Yep. So the 2026 flows are the ones that are being sold. So these, I am fairly certain we're going to see some opening volume from a while ago, maybe, or maybe even recently. I don't know. But as you can see, these two call contracts are responsible for pretty much, not all, but a large portion. This is, if we added this up, this is 8 million. So negative 8 million call premium can be attributed to just these two contracts. Right. So here's just a single thing of volume. So hold on. AMD 130. When were these opened? Do I have a 130 tweet somewhere? 2026. 2026. When would it have been? It would have been last year. Last August, maybe. AMD, yeah. So AMD 140 from August 13, 2024. AMD 140, December 18, 2026. At 44.75. So they took a loss, I guess. They took a loss. But this is not the right one. That's the 130. We need 140. So 140. Oh, so they definitely took a loss. But that's the reason why there's a lot of these decreases in net call premium. So it's just big flows repositioning, I guess. I don't think it's necessarily bearish. It's definitely not bullish, right? It's definitely not bullish, but I don't think it's necessarily bearish. Let's see here. Someone says there seems to be an echo. Yeah. So when people join the stream channel, like their mic by default is not muted. So like sometimes they an echo comes through, but we take care of that pretty quick here. What do I think of JPM? Haven't seen much of JPM flow. See if there's anything today. Let's see here. So the JPM 300 July, some play. Not the craziest amount of premium, not the craziest amount of volume. Not that those are, you know, the end all be alls of flow trading. Let's see. What do anyone saying anything? JPM. God, there's so much bullshit on Twitter. Like, look at this shit. Not a single useful post. Come on. What does he say here? Nothing useful. This guy's saying JPM call 300 August. Is that the same one that we just looked at? No, we saw 300 July. Okay, so that's not him pumping his position. Yeah, so nobody really talking about JPM. Don't think there's really been any JPM flow lately. Let me just quickly check over to the Discord server, the flow channel. Flow channel, let's type in JPM. So the last couple things that, well, the last thing I posted, I guess, was JPM 220 August 15 put was a bid side put. So I think they were short. Are they still open? So this was on April, that was April 30th. April 30th. So like a slightly under 1,000 size position. Do we see any volume, which could be indicative of them closing it out? Nope. So they're still holding it. What day did I say it was? I said it was on April 30th. Here it is. Wow, perfectly timed short put right there. Almost $7 a contract. And not even a sweat, just straight down. That must be nice. Why doesn't it ever do that for me? It just never does that for me. It's bullshit. Let's see here. We got ENVX. Let's see here. Taking a look at the chains. I'm just going to add a random one just because that's the easiest way to get to the net premium chart at the moment. What is this thing? ENVX. I'm going to Google it off screen real quick. ENVX. Lithium battery thingies. ENVX. Let me just look at the Discord as well for that because I don't recall anything on my end. Oh, well, hold on. No, that's from May. So back, I guess that's expired. Yeah, so I don't really see anything today. Haven't seen anything lately. I guess if you're interested, I would maybe check the open interest on the 20C January 2027s. I would check the open interest on those tomorrow if you're interested. Because it seems... it doesn't seem like there's anyone building a position necessarily. I mean, every time there's more open interest, it's like it's multi-legged, so it's kind of hard to read. So I don't know. You might see open interest increase by like 2K maybe tomorrow. That's it for ENVX. Swips asks about Nike. Let's take a look at Nike. Does that have earnings like soon, or I feel like people were saying something about that. Let me see here real quick. Today. All right, so we got Nike earnings today. Flow is a bit of a mess here. We do have a single candle on the 54p this week. However, it is possible that there is a similar size candle yesterday. Indeed, there is. But this one was smaller than this one. Is it possible that, what is this, 2,500 plus 5,000, 7,500? Yeah, so it's possible that this is related volume. No way to know for certain, unfortunately. Just try to find a specific. Am I tracking any Nike right now? I think I'm only tracking a short put. So here's the one that we just added. I'm tracking the 62.5 August calls that had some flow. on June 16th or 18th rather, June 18th. Had some pretty high volume. Yeah. He should already be muted. It looks like he's muted on my end. Or maybe that's just me muting it. No, I don't know. I don't exactly know what's going on.
I think your mic might be
see.
like connection clipping a little. Earlier it was an echo. Right now it just sounds kind of clippy. Just like hold a sustained note quick. All right, it's good now.
All right. So anyways, Nike August calls here. The only other Nike position I'm tracking are some short puts from a while ago. These were opened. Maybe they weren't. I don't even know why this is on my list. I might have seen this 411 bid side volume plus open interest increasing 411. Yeah, so it might have been this flow that I was looking at. So which doesn't really help you now because it's so far out of the money. Let's see here. The implied move for Nike this week is 6.85%, plus or minus $4.21 in either direction. How has Nike behaved during earnings? Let's take a quick peek. Why don't I see? Oh, because I'm on the wrong date. Nike earnings, kind of a mixed bag. Yep. Not a whole lot going on here. No pattern. Is there ever a pattern? Have we seen a pattern recently? Where did that go? Let's see next week. Anything fun next week? Nope. Up the week after? Nope. July starts getting some fun. Let me just click. I'll just click like Netflix. Let me go the week after. Coca-Cola. I'm just clicking some random names that like we all know, just to look at something real quick here. So I just want to look at expected versus actual move data just to try to find one with like a trend maybe. This one doesn't really have a trend. This one, I guess the trend is that it doesn't, I mean, so far, it hasn't exceeded the earnings move. Small data size, or small sample size rather, only 5 earnings prints so far. Coca-Cola, it seems like you're better off not buying the options. Pretty consistent trend of trading inside the expected move. Netflix, on the other hand, a mixed bag-ish, but some history of outsized move. Let's check the tide real quick. What's going on here? So we're still trading at highs. Any movement on my watch list? Let's see here. So there was some pretty high volume on the Oscar calls. I think Wall Street Jesus also mentioned those. We mentioned the AR calls that could be adding or could be selling. So check open interest on those tomorrow. I think they're adding, if I had to guess. So we should see maybe 11,000 open interest maybe tomorrow. What is this guy? I don't care about that. $25. So you open them on the second. Yeah, so this is just some weird flow that just like doesn't really. So here's just an example, right? There's flows that just don't, like, who knows what they're doing, right? So here we go. Prime example. We have 4. So here's the Amazon 205 2026. Not super important, right? So but we do see 4 candles equal sizing, right? Nothing tells me that they're the same trader, but they're probably the same trader. Now, you might think, oh, they're building a position, right? They're building, here's 16,000, here's 16,000, here's 16,000, here's 16,000. But if we look at the volume and open interest, it tells a completely different story. So we see their first candle Where's the first candle? The first candle was on June 2, the first candle of note. So June 2, we have 1600 volume, like we mentioned. Open interest goes up as we would expect. Everything checks out. Cool, cool, cool. But then the next time we see 1600 volume, the open interest actually decreases. So that was this trader closing the position for whatever reason. Now on the 23rd, they're back again. They've opened it. And now today they're trading them again. And I suspect we'll probably see a decrease in open interest tomorrow. If the pattern holds true, right? Because they opened here, they closed here, they opened here, to be determined here. But it just kind of goes to show that there's like a lot of flows that like don't make sense. You gotta look at the volume and open interest, right? If you just looked at this chart, you might think, oh, someone's loading up here, but they're not. Let's see here. Next ticker ANET. Let's check out ANET real quick. Am I tracking any ANET? I guess that's the first thing we can do. ANET. The 135 September calls. I don't know why I'm tracking these just by looking. Someone might have requested these. Someone probably requested this last chat, if I had to guess. But anyways, let's see if there's any new ANET flows today. So most traded, I guess let's just look at the chart. What was that spike? This guy right here at around 11. Nope, that's not that one. If you see a spike and you just want to investigate what it is, like the easiest way, and it's not as easy as I would love to, just look at the feed. So you need to go back to like what 11? Oh no, that wasn't 11. That's 10:30. It might just be my internet. Yeah, you got to have to deal, unfortunately. So a big multiple trade here. So this is probably some kind of reversal play, maybe. It's just it's just two chains. It's just two contracts. The A at 110 call and the A at 90 put. Some kind of multi-leg trade. I don't think that they're buying both of them. One of these probably being shorted, the other one being bought. There's no way to really tell. Let me unplug and retool my thing. It's gonna get. There's nothing I can really do to troubleshoot right now. But yeah, ANET not seeing a whole lot today, and that it is what it is. You don't always see flows. Let's see here. We got QS in the chat. QS. Let's see here. The 3C July. 3C. That's pretty in the money. 3C. So 3C multi-leg activity. It's kind of tricky just to read just at a glance. Well, I guess the May 19 activity was single leg. So, 4,500 single leg contracts traded May 19, which is here. So yeah, I mean they've likely made. Yeah, so there's no way they exited. The only time they could have exited was yesterday. But if they did, no, it's too many contracts, so they're still probably holding, if I had to guess. But yeah, so that's that's very in the money now. Next one we got QS 71165. So the QS 711. Just look at the timestamps. So probably buys to open, if I had to guess, just by looking at the tape. As you can see here, I'm looking at the timestamps. I see 10:51:57. I see it go to 58. I see a 59. So I see 3 seconds of activity, which is pretty good. That means I get to see the bid ask kind of do what it needs to do during that time. And I can see that Do we think that they're bought? I mean, if I had to guess, it's getting bought because, like, I mean, the bid ask and the spot are all being lifted as the fills are taking place. Implied volatility is also increasing. So yeah, I think they're probably buys to open, and they've timed it ish well. I mean, it's up a few percent. Yeah, that's QS. Meta, next ticker. I do believe I saw, I think we mentioned it real quick at the open too. Was it the 730s or something like that? If I just type in Meta, what comes up? So some candles on the 740 next week. Maybe the interval flow might be better for us. Let's see. Yeah, so maybe like the 725 through 740 strikes getting hit today. Oh, no. So yeah, right at the open, the 770 expiring not next week, but the week after. The 770 got hit for 143. 100% an opening trade, given that at the start of the day, there was obviously no volume at the start of the day. There's only 150 open interest, and this is a 1,000 plus size trade. So like, it just has to be an opening trade. So similar situation, looking at the timestamps, I have, again, just a nice multi-second look, and I can see that they're lifting up the bid, they're lifting up the ask, the spots are going up as well. There's a decrease here, but this is after like a whole minute has elapsed, so like it's not as impactful in my opinion. I just want to see what this block of activity that I am attributing to a single trader. Now, there's no way to know for certain. We just have to make a few educated assumptions. So my educated assumption is that there is likely a 1,000 size opener here on the long side. And barring any other activity throughout the rest of the day, they are still holding. Now, it is possible that, you know, they sold 10 here, 100 here, 200 here, right? But it's unlikely. Looks like another day for the bulls. What's the Twitter saying here? Amazon long leap verticals 2027 270 340 call spread. Let's see. Big multi-leggers, does it show up? There it is, right there. 270 340 2100 size call spread. Jesus, that's, oh no, I mean, it's not that far of the money. For some reason I thought Amazon was like 170 right now. I don't know what I was thinking. So let's see here. So they're paying 1440. So I'm doing 2455 minus 1015. So they're paying 1440 per max gain of 70. What other Amazon flows are there? I'm not tracking too much Amazon, I feel like. There are some here, but like some of these are from a while ago, I think. This one I don't think was one. This one is a flow from a while ago. Did they short those? Nope, that one's not a long position. Ignore that one. Yeah, this one's a long position, I think. Was it April 30? Yeah, so April 30, not April 30, May 1, close enough. About 10,000 opened at 458. This is the Amazon 235 October calls. Again, 458. So like 50%-ish. 235 deck. Probably still open, given the open interest, lack of volume. These are just so far of the money. So I'm not tracking too much Amazon flow. I am tracking a few short puts. Here's a beautifully timed short put. And there's a few others as well. Here's some other short puts. These are all short. I'm fairly certain. Nice time right there. Nice time right here. Drew Hub asks, did we already do Tesla? We did not do Tesla. Tesla's definitely a finicky name. I'm just going to click a random contract just to get it. So the only flows that I'm tracking are short put flows, I think. This is the one that I randomly clicked. I don't need that. So I am tracking this from, I believe it was June 9. Is that June 9? Yeah. So this is a short put position, I believe. So that's a pretty fat 13 plus fill. Now trading at under $1. So they made a shit ton of money there. 260 July 25. Similar story. They opened them right here at 14 plus. And they're still open. More volume here, but this volume was high multi-leg. So like, I'm just going to pretend it's not them. And it probably isn't. But as far as flows, net premium, mixed, like Tesla, you're always going to see, and I bet if I look, maybe not right now, but there are always just like crazy out of the money calls. So maybe not today. Did we see any yesterday? Oops. Like 700, 600. When you see like the 5, 6, 700 strike calls being posted on Twitter, like that's the top. That's the top of Tesla for the time being. I don't remember. It was like 770 or something recently. Tesla 770. 770. And like, I'm not saying the 770 is good flow. I'm saying it's probably not good flow. Or even is it 770? I don't know. Let's see here. Tesla. I don't remember if it was exactly 70, but I know it was over 700. Let's try 50K. That's today, yesterday. Yeah, so yesterday. Yeah, so maybe it was yesterday. I mean, it happens every day. It's literally every day. Like, yes, it's in 2026. Yes, Tesla could feasibly be 750 in 2026, but like, I don't know. They do these flows, they buy them or they open them, they close them. Very similarly to that Amazon one we just looked at. Like, there's no real rhyme or reason to it, I think. Let me see here. Let's just actually look at them. Some previous examples. So like here, this was back in May. Similar example to that Amazon where there's a contract that gets a big opener and then they close everything and then they open it again for some reason. Like, does that give you the impression? Does that give you the vibe that they know what they're doing? I'm not saying that they don't know what they're doing. They probably do. This is probably just like some super advanced thing that they have going on, but it's definitely not a directional play. Right now, I can't tell you for certain what is a directional play and what isn't all the time, but like you should, when something clearly isn't, you should be able to just be like, all right, this isn't it. This isn't it. Let's see here. Got a question. We should all get the bookmarks that you have. How can we get them? Are they in the filters shared ones? So there isn't a way to see what I have bookmarked, but like it's not a secret necessarily. If you want to, this is being recorded on YouTube as we speak, so feel free to just come back to this part. I'll just do a little slow scroll here. Not everything here is still live. There's a lot of flows here that are just junk. They're probably trash. I haven't cleared them out. But some are still quite active. Like just random flow. I think someone shorted a whole bunch of VU puts back in, how far back are we going here? So back in December of 2024, about 1,200 VU 495 puts opened at the bid. Reckon they're short, $8.33 credit per, under $1 each now. So a nice a nice collection there for them. Oh, so the question wasn't about my bookmark contracts, but about my my settings. So yeah, the settings that I use, they're here. It's like I just have like this one. It's slightly different. It's the same thing, but it's like I don't even know it's different. Let's see here. So if I click on Ask Flow and I just click back and forth here, yeah, nothing is changing between the pages. So it's probably the exact same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. So check out the preset filters here. There are also preset filters. Where is the community chat? If you go to the community page, it's unusualwhales.com/community. There are user uploaded filters right here. Mine, as well as other users. Definitely check them out. Don't just use mine because like I have a pretty narrow, like I'm narrow-minded, right? Like I have my biases as well. Like I have a prejudice against flow that's like under a certain dollar amount, and that makes me miss out on plenty of bangers. So like, don't my settings are far from perfect. Just try about different ones out, and just see what works best for you. But yeah, my settings are pretty much here. I don't. Oh yeah, the screener ones are here. I don't think there's a preset for the interval one, but I will leave. I'll leave that in the chat. I just dropped it in the Discord chat. And Nick, if you want to send it over to YouTube, perhaps. So we've got about 15 minutes left in the stream. The chat I've caught up, so feel free to say what else you want to say. Let's just see what people are seeing. So we already looked at the Amazon long leap verticals. Actually, I want to add those to my watch list, just so I can keep an eye on that one. So 270. I'll just add the 270. So definitely an opening activity here because we have 2,000 contracts, only 1,700 open interest. Similar story on the 340 leg. 2,100 traded, 300 open interest. Very clearly an opening trade. Any other spicy spreads? Let's see here. I don't want. There's just so much see, like that Amazon thing. It was pretty easy to find, right? But just because we see an ask side call here and a bid side call here and they're multi-legged doesn't necessarily mean that it's a call, like a call debit spread, right? There's just like a lot of half of the stuff on this feed is probably junk, right? The Amazon is like the one thing on here at a glance that looks interesting. I'm gonna look at a couple others just to see if we see anything remotely interesting else. So this one's too short dated, but next week it's just a roll. Palantir, here's a weird four-legger that I mentioned. Oh, it's potentially no, it's not a seven-legger. It's probably a six-legger. 140, yeah, it's a four-legger. SMCI, the four-legger that we looked at earlier. ANET, that double-legger that we looked at. Coin, this is probably a four-legger. Yep. There's just a lot of weird four-leggers. A coin, here's another, is just a three. Nope, this one's four as well. There's just a whole bunch of them, right? And I don't know what they mean. And you don't need to know what they mean either. Here's a Palantir one, probably 4 or 2 or 4. 4. If I just go back a couple days, I'm going to be able to see their entry, right? Here's their entry probably. Let's see. Oh, Amazon big missile. Let's see. Nick in the chat says IoT 7.3. Yep, I see that right here. IoT. So not as much activity as I would like to see to dissect the feed, right? Like earlier, I was looking for transactions that were within the same couple seconds just to get a feel for how the bid ask was behaving. Don't have that luxury here. So we have less information on which to make an assumption. But I think I will still go long calls in this instance. I'm not saying I'm buying long calls. I'm saying I think these are probably long calls. Yep, that's IoT. Trading at not all-time high, at daily highs. SPY is just a tick off all-time highs. I believe the Qs are at all-time highs currently. Yep, we did have the Intel September 27s, a very big opener this morning. I also believe these to be a buy to open. Trading about 77, 78. And they're still the same price. So if you wish to try your luck, that is a thing. I think there might be like some other Intel flow. I don't think I have it saved though. Maybe I do. I think I might have a couple random ones. I think there was 23 August was one that kind of comes to mind. Was that this guy right here? When was that? So that might have been some of this. 618, there was some ask side flow. Ask side flow. Any other big days of volume? No, so I guess that was it. Until 22. Yeah, what's up?
The 28C for August had some action on the 24th.
So actually, Intel had that pump like a couple weeks ago that faded, but it looks like some of those, yeah. So it was right here exactly 2 weeks ago. But some of those flows look to still be open. So on 6/4, on June 4, you got 15,000 contracts translating to open interest. Yes, there's some multi-leg activity, but the bulk of them were single leg. And then again, 6/9, another 10,000 traded, primarily at the ask, single leg. Clearly, almost nearly a full carryover in open interest. Now the 6/10 volume maybe is where they be handed off the contracts, because there's another 20,000 traded here, but not much increase in open interest. It's hard to say. I still think there's still a decent amount of long positions in Intel. Now, it's been a finicky name. It's been a piece of shit, frankly, for a long time now. So best of luck to you. Here's another one from the other day. Do have multi. What is that multi?
The individual fills might not fit the historical flow filter. Yeah, there we go. Lump sum.
Well, some of it was
big old mid-fill candle.
Who knows? Yeah, no problem. Lucky Chances, thanks for shouting out the ticker. All right, let's look at the feed real quick here. If there's anything last second coming through. SBET had that pump yesterday that got completely faded. That wasn't yesterday. Yesterday, pump faded. Oscar, are these doing any better? Nope, different contract. Never mind. Someone said C earlier, right? Next week, C87 getting some flows. Over 10,000 traded. I believe someone mentioned C at the top of the stream. I could be mistaken. Let's see. Anything else? Ooh, so the Reddit on a nice little pump here. The one Reddit flow that I have been tracking was that 140, 150 call spread. Here, 140, 150 call spread. I'm tracking both legs. So on the 16th, they bought the 150 or the 140, 150 call spread. What did they pay? I'm just going to click into a random one here and hope we find it. Yep, so 140 was going for like 196. 150 was selling for like 86. So let's just say they paid 110 per. They paid 110 per. So the break even is Reddit trading at 141.1. But it is currently trading at 146. So this call spread is actually going to make a pretty good amount of money, it seems. So that's quite nice for them. Let's see. Anyone else saying anything? Nope. All right, we got one more. The Norwegian cruise calls from the other day, allegedly getting some more volume today. Let's take a look. Norwegian cruise. Yeah, so they added a few days ago. So the original flows were on June 4th. So you can see here, June 4th, 30,000 plus volume, almost 30,000 plus new open interest. It looks like they did close some of them the next day. There's a decent amount of volume followed by a decent amount of open interest. So now we know that some of them were closed yesterday because so before this big whale came around, there was only 2,400 open interest. So, you know, there wasn't 38,000, there wasn't 3,800 plus people before. So probably them closing some here. And then there was some more volume on 623 that resulted in nearly a full increase in open interest from the volume. So assuming a whale increased, or not, maybe not necessarily increased if it was a different person, but yeah, the open interest has increased. Probably some more bull positions if I had to guess. And there's still quite a bit of ways to go. Yeah. Let's see here. Someone says circle. It's going to be difficult. You know, it's the premiums are crazy juiced, so you're going to be paying a premium either way you cut it. Who knows how it's going to go? Honestly, the flow is not really going to help you for circle, I think. ASTS, haven't seen anything as of yet today, except for maybe the 45C July. Let's see here. Nope. So kind of the same situation as Amazon that we just mentioned, right? On 623, big volume, right? 2,300 volume, single leg. The next day, the same amount of volume, essentially. Open interest decreases, so that's them selling. And now they're opening it again, and they're probably going to close them again. So it's probably not directional. There's a lot of tricky stuff going on here, you know. Not everything is as it seems. I wish it was, you know, it'd be much easier, but let's see here. Jignesh asks, any recommendation on who to follow on Twitter? There's, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. I don't think I'm perfect, but I don't really think anyone else is, you know, perfect call outs either. So like, I'm kind of hesitant to name anyone else. I would just say it's best to just like see, you know, just look around, and if you see people, always look up what they're saying. Like, let's just find a random. Let's just go to my For You, because I don't want to necessarily pick on anyone that I'm already following. Maybe if we can see some random flow someone shared. Don't judge my algorithm if you see anything weird. It's mostly basketball, and unfortunately, the racism is just auto put on your For You feed. It seems lately,
dude. For real, it's insane.
I'm not looking for it. I promise, guys. Okay, well, it doesn't look like anyone's sharing any flow here, so I guess that's pretty much it.
I did get a Periscope question in chat on YouTube, and it'll be really quick. So if you have something else you want to cover before I do this, go ahead. Otherwise,
go ahead.
I can wrap us up. So if you're on Discord, go ahead and switch to my screen. And I'm gonna look like a bit of an asshole here because what I was gonna talk about happened already. So if you don't have your primer with the Periscope, both in YouTube and Discord, I'm dropping a link to the breakdown of what Periscope is and the theories behind it. Where the hell did that window go? There we go. I use it personally for scalping intraday. I use a combination of the gamma exposure levels, negative gamma. Theory behind it, quick short, is market makers will sell into dips and buy into rips, meaning trying to cause continuation at those potential levels. And the green positive gex is kind of the opposite. If you're looking at these like support, resistance, pivot points, that type of ideology, the green ones would be kind of considered resistance from above, support from below. What I wanted to talk about that already happened, in terms of just straight up gamma exposure levels, I use all. Sometimes I'll switch to the 0 day every now and again for a today look. But here, these big green gamma exposure bars of positive gamma exposure, I see as a resistance zone because market makers positioning are there. They're going to sell against the push against those is the theory behind it. I can't say it's guaranteed to happen. No such thing as a 100% chance of anything other than death and taxes. So here, what I would have been looking for and was looking for, unfortunately, hindsight capital, just saying what happened after it happened. But we've got this major, the heaviest positive gex of the day currently at 6140 on SPX. They couldn't get above it just now. Now,
Nick, you can share screen, nothing.
I'm not sharing to the Discord.
No, you share screen Discord itself.
Let me cancel the stream. Let me reshare the stream. Share the screen. Is it up? It's showing up for me on.
Yep. Yeah, now it.
All right, good deal. So this 6140 level here, I would be looking at that as a rejection point, and they didn't quite make it there. So the other aspect that I have on here, and there's a really good video on our YouTube channel as well by Dan explaining this straddle cone. I utilize it pretty similarly to how I utilize support and resistance levels. In this case, it's a range. So here, coming up to that heavy positive gex, my intuition on the theory of this scalping strategy is I would want to short against that and take my profit at the top of this cone. If I'm in multiple contracts, I'd leave a runner to see if we re-enter the straddle cone's range to touch the bottom edge of it. But in this case, I would have shorted here with an exit at the top of the cone. And if they hold the top of that cone as support and start pushing back into that positive gex, and actually we can see right here, I wish I could zoom in better. Right here, the 6135 negative gex, you can see it starting to taper off. You see these little dots here? All those little white dots are the 10-minute interval changes in that gamma exposure level. So here at 6200, it fell a little bit down. 6165, it fell a little bit down. But the one that I was interested in here is this tiny little gamma exposure in between what I would consider a resistance wall for gex. And so if they were to hold this top of the cone without, you know, shitting the bed straight down to the bottom of the range in the cone, that to me, based on the scalping strategy, which I can share the link to as well, that would be a long, again, targeting the same highs that they went to of that range. So the question that started this was, is there anything on Periscope showing? For me, in terms of being pretty conservative with my trades, not really. I would want to see it hold the cone. If I'm looking at longs, I want to see it hold strongly before I do anything. Otherwise, I tend to short more often than not. I would want to wait for it to drop into the cone and then play it range trade style within that cone. If that doesn't happen for me, I'm not super comfortable scalping it until I see that pattern form. But today, despite the flip-flopping market tide that we're seeing, just huge booms, huge dumps in both net call and net put premium, they're not as dramatic as they look. If you look at the top, you can see net call premium only has 2 million. That's nothing burger amounts of premium at this time. So I'm not putting a lot of faith into my tide. I'd just be watching these gamma exposure levels as support, resistance, possible continuation, possible rejections. So for my strategy right now, no scalps for me. If I was feeling cocky, I would, again, not financial advice, but if I was feeling cocky, I would long it here, pretty much here at the top of the cone with a stop at low of day and a target. Again, if I was feeling cocky, a target, long target would be 6200 SPX, which is, that's a move. But tentative targets would be 6155 and 6165 at those other parts of negative gex. But even then, they're not super big, so I wouldn't bank on continuation at them. Oh, Dan's in the YouTube chat, dropping knowledge again. But that's all I got on Periscope. Oh, he's straight up gone. I didn't know that. Well, all right. If he doesn't have anything else with Flow, which I'm assuming he doesn't because he's gone, I think we can tie a ribbon on that here, homies. Did you guys like the morning time slot? Because I know we haven't done a lot of morning streams. Are you generally keeping it on all expiry? And what level of positive Gex gives you confidence for a rejection? I do like having it on all. The straddle, if I'm not mistaken, Dan can correct me if I'm wrong, the straddle is based on the 0 day. But I like ranges, and I use that straddle as a range. And over the last few days, it's been pretty reliable in that regard. I plan to, sometime in the coming month, have a video coming out of me actually scalping it live and videoing it. So even if I lose, even if I win, all of that will be in there. Because when I go over trades, I want to be very clear that there's no such thing as a 100% win rate. It's simply not a thing. It doesn't exist. If it existed, we'd all be rich as hell. And I don't know about you, but I'm not. But what level of positive Gex gives you confidence for rejection? I'm not well versed enough in gamma exposure as a whole, but if I see, for example, where's my window? These huge bars here, we've got 12,814 gamma exposure at that 6140 level I was talking about. It's pretty big, especially in comparison to the rest of the gamma exposure on the chart. For me, you know, I'd be looking at that for rejection. If they can rip through that and then backtest it as support, I think that uptrend just kind of continues until buy that EXE shuts off. But I don't have like a set number. So like if this were 6,000, but all of the ratios of sizing of the gamma exposure was still equal, I would kind of have that same sentiment. Yep, Dan says, confirm the straddle break-evens are indeed calculated from the 0 DTE expiry. I keep losing my windows here. I'm lost. But yeah, I'll wrap us up here. If you missed anything or came in kind of late, don't worry about it. The kind of key points I'm going to chop up and put them in a standalone video, but obviously the VOD itself will still be available here right after I click end stream. Other than that, thanks for coming, everybody. Let us know if you liked having this in the morning or if you still prefer Power Hour. We're happy to kind of mix it up, do what you guys prefer and what's more comfortable for your days. This is our job, so we can make time for you guys where it fits you best. So just let us know. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.